So the real story here is NVIDIA wins again.
Yes, Wave, W-A-Y-V-E. Wave is the company.
And this company's doing incredible. And they're using that Thor architecture we talked about. So you have Waymo building a hardware stack. You have Elon and Tesla building a hardware stack. And then you have a hardware stack by NVIDIA at the same time. So NVIDIA isn't just content enough to give the back-end servers to people pursuing self-driving. They're building another set of hardware and sensors just specifically for mobility. And that's the big news here is Jensen wants to facilitate more customers. It benefits Jensen if there are many players in a space competing, not one. Why? Well, because then they're not dependent on any one company. And as we saw, Microsoft had been like, I don't know if it was 15 or 20% of their revenue. Everybody was speculating who's like customer.
Right. There were those
one.
3 companies that are like half of their revenue, and everybody was trying to guess what those 3, Alphabet or Meta or,
Pretty clearly Microsoft plus OpenAI is the big fish because that represented 2 players. But now you have OpenAI and NVIDIA collaborating directly to build data centers. That's a little bit of the fractioning of the relationship with Microsoft, I think. And them going it on their own with their own compute that they don't have to go to Microsoft to get at Azure. Okay, fair enough. And Microsoft, fair enough, is working on their own large language models as well. So the investments occurring here are significant. The Wave one, I believe, was $500 million. And did they say what this NVIDIA and OpenAI's latest round would be?
Let me pull it out. Yeah, it's $100 billion strategic partnership is what they're calling it. And yes, $500 million was the Wave deal.
So
to support the partnership,
NVIDIA, I think, is the...
NVIDIA intends to invest up to $100 billion in OpenAI progressively as each gigawatt is developed. The first gigawatt of NVIDIA systems will be deployed in the second half of 2026. So it's $100 billion over an extended period of time.
So what's very interesting about this and is going to become the next big debate is this round tripping where I give you an investment and then you spend it with me.
Correct.
So the accountants are going to be all over this. Jensen is very smart. He knows this, but this could lead the SEC. I'm sure the SEC has already asked them about it, and I'm sure they've buttoned it up. But
no doubt.
I'm giving you $1 billion this year. You're buying $2 billion worth of H100s. This is going to, have to face some pretty significant scrutiny.
Yeah.
The problem is when the investment and the round tripping is not justifiable. So OpenAI's got to buy these anyway. It's pretty clear. And NVIDIA's got a bunch of cash to invest. So they're going to own a significant amount. They're going to own 10% or 20% if it was $100 billion. This doesn't make sense to me. These numbers need to be clarified, and we'll do that in an upcoming episode. But if they were putting $100 billion into the company and they just did a secondary of $500 billion, it doesn't take a genius to figure out that's like 20%. There is people who have H-1Bs pay taxes and they pay into Social Security. That is a rare win for our government in retirement accounts. This also happens, I think, with illegal aliens pay into undocumented illegal. They pay into it. So sometimes you pay into something because that's the rules of the country and you don't get the benefit unless at some point you become a citizen.
Yeah, move back, retire.
Some number of people become citizens. The problem with the H-1B visa, and I think Lutnick brought this up or JD brought this up, and again, balls and strikes, like they're going to get some things right here, folks, even if you didn't vote for them. The thing they realize is people who are coming on H-1B visas, some of them were getting government subsidies, like, I'm not sure which ones. I don't know if it was food stamps or whatever it happens to be. But if they were getting paid such a low salary and then they were essentially getting put on the dole as well, like, shouldn't that be the company that, pays for it? And this is the problem with the low wage hack that people were doing. So
you also hear a lot about this from the left, like companies like Walmart, McDonald's that are paying subsistence wages, and then a lot of their employees end up using food stamps, other kind of welfare benefits. And it's like, well, why? We should just make McDonald's pay people more so that we don't have to subsidize their employees.
It's going to be a big part of my presidential platform as well, which is we're going to add $1 to the federal minimum wage for the 8 years of my presidency and get it up to 15. Globally, other people have $15, $20 an hour minimum wages, and they have McDonald's and Starbucks. And when you get to $15 an hour, you're not raising a family on it, but you're also probably not going and getting food stamps. We saw this in, I think, Seattle, New York, and San Francisco, I think, all have minimum wages in the high teens, mid-teens to high teens now. They did it over time.
It's impossible to live in those cities unless you make, 15 plus an hour. Like, you're going to die.
So, yeah, it's just, you literally would be close to homelessness if you had a $2,000 a month apartment. Yeah,
it's not possible. Yeah. So on Sunday, President Trump was speaking to Fox News, and he suggested that Rupert and Lachlan Murdoch, the leaders of Fox News Corp, it used to be News Corp, now it's Fox, they may end up being among the investors in the new U.S.-based TikTok entity. Trump listed the Murdochs along with other people he said would, quote, probably be involved in the deal. That includes Oracle chairman Larry Ellison and another new name, Dell founder Michael Dell. The White House is now suggesting that the TikTok deal, it's going to be an executive order. That's how we're going to push it through. And it should be coming as soon as the next few days. The current plan, ByteDance is going to create a duplicate copy of the TikTok algorithm, which they will then lease to this U.S. venture that's coming together to sort of own it. U.S. users, in contrast to original reports, it seems like we won't need to download a brand new app. It's going to work with the TikTok app we already have on our phones, and the U.S. government is not going to have an equity stake in the new company like they do with Intel. Even though they've sort of helped broker the deal, the government is not going to be a co-owner of TikTok. So I think the big thing that the internet is discussing based on this is that it does seem like the lineup of TikTok owners is a bit of a who's who of Trump allies. That includes the Ellison family, now the Murdoch family and Fox News, Mark Andreessen. It's a lot. It doesn't seem like a very balanced collective in terms of their political side of the aisle. Does that raise free speech or bias concerns for you?
No, because every single Democrat and former Democrat is now engaged, with the exception of maybe Reid Hoffman, in supporting the Republican Party. And so I've talked about this countless times, but Mark Cuban as well. Yeah, that's true. And he's not included here, but it seems like 9 out of 10 business leaders are engaged with the Trump administration. The Trump administration has gone to great lengths to court the business community and to listen to their needs. And that's something, as I said on Jesse Waters' show, the Democrats had the opportunity to do, and Obama and Bill Clinton used to do. So the moderate Democratic Party, which I, kind of say Clinton was the pinnacle of and Obama was adjacent to, and Biden went fully left or further left, they were super engaged with commerce. And so the Democrats during the last 4 years could have invited all these same people to the White House and had those kind of dinners and listened to their concerns and redid the crypto regulations and thought about all these things. And by the way, the Murdochs have been quite anti-Trump. That's been a big point of contention between Trump and Rupert Murdoch. So I would put him in the bucket of anti-Trump people or no longer fully throated Trump supporters. No, they've been very critical of him.
They had at times. I mean, I wouldn't say Fox News today is anti-Trump, but
no, not Fox News. I'm talking about the Murdochs themselves.
Well, that's that is them. That's the Wall Street Journal, the Post,
But the Wall Street Journal is like, if you were to look at Trump's statements, he really has been down on Fox News and on the Wall Street Journal,
you're
the two major properties.
And I mean, the Wall Street Journal is the one that was publishing, that birthday book and all this other stuff.
Yes.
So it's not.
So
it's not a binary. It's not a 1-to-1. Rupert Murdoch's a complicated guy.
So, and Mark Andreessen, I think, was formerly, Democratic, and his partner, Ben Horowitz, was donating to Kamala very recently. So what's happened here is, so I don't have that concern. What I do like about this is it's a consortium. So if it's a bunch of people putting in 5 billion, 1 billion, 10 billion, whatever the numbers are, there's actually not one owner. It's going to be a fully diversified organization and company run by a board of directors. So in fact, there's going to be no God King. And if you want to talk about God Kings, you can look at Larry and Sergey and Zuckerberg. They have super voting shares and they control their company. So if you want to know who can act unilaterally, it's people with super voting shares, different classes of shares where they get 10 or 100 votes. Zuckerberg and his family will control Meta and their billions of users for all eternity. That's the company that you have to be worried about. This company, you will not need to, because the original owners are going to keep their stakes. So Jeff Yass, I think my friend Brad Gerstner, Altimeter, has a very public position in the company. I don't know how large it is. So this cap table is going to have, it looks like, dozens of people on it. It will be a fully diversified company, and then a large amount of the shares will be floated publicly, which is why all these people are making this investment. They're not making this investment to control the asset. They're making it because it's a great business deal.